What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And this week on The Great Debaters, getting into some U.G.K, taking it back. Alright, Amir, so as always, we're here on The Great Debaters talking about some magnificent material. And before we get to this U.G.K Too Hard to Swallow album, as always, please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share, talk about it, be about it, each one, teach one. We appreciate your guys' support. And please hit that subscribe button, talk about unique access entertainment with your friends, get them to subscribe if they haven't already, because we need your support and get into the next level of the game. Now today, for The Great Debaters, we're picking our top 3 picks, U.G.K's debut national release. They had been out independently, of course, before, for Jive Records, U.G.K Too Hard to Swallow, 1992. Amir, what were your first recollections getting into this album, getting into U.G.K?
I don't remember. I don't remember all that, to be honest. I don't really remember. I'd heard them before, like, I'd heard International Players Anthem, I'd heard a few other things. I'd heard, like, the Sippin' on the Scissor feature, like, I'd heard stuff like that, but as far as albums, this is actually the first album I bought. So, I bought this. I know, like, they had, like, Band. I didn't hear Band until later, and I also, like, the Southern Way, quite a few songs from there on here, so this was, like, my first intro to those songs. So, with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and get into one of my tracks. That's going to be Pocket Full of Stones. Definitely one of the more popular songs on the album. I really, really, really enjoy it. Pimp C produces quite a bit on this album. So shout out to Pimp C. I think a lot of people forget that he produces, so yeah. Always whenever we do a video about U.G.K, about Pimp C, I want to kind of shout that out. So Pocket Full of Stones, I like Pimp's flow a lot on this. I think the way he says certain words is always funny, and just like his style of rap and his voice. And you hear his voice kind of progress over the years, and obviously same as Bun. I think Pimp does so good on this track. And then, obviously, talking about the nature of the song, you know, they have a pocket full of stones, right? On top of that, too, the beat I really enjoy. You hear the chorus where you just hear Pimp saying, I got a pocket full of stones, and he's, like, dragging it out. But then, one thing I really like about this beat, and it wasn't until later, and actually, shout out to Soren, who's next to me, but Soren told me that I need to listen to DJ DMD's album, 22... to PA Worldwide, and when I had heard, this is like the last track, I don't even think it has a name, it's just like an untitled DJ mix, and he samples Pocket Full of Stones, the beat on that. He does like a few different beats, a few different vocal samples. Dude, wow. Make sure to check out that. It's the last track on 22 to PA Worldwide, and like I said, I don't think it has a song name, I think it's just like an untitled DJ mix. He brings it on that, and when I heard Pocket Full of Stones again, it reminded me of that mix. I had forgot, like, where's this beat from? I was like, oh yeah, it's Pocket Full of Stones. Dude, that mix is amazing. So good. Thank you, Soren, again. And then Pocket Full of Stones, a song, definitely a staple in the U.G.K catalog. Definitely one of my top 3 on this album.
Pocket Full of Stones is definitely one of my top 3 picks as well. And speaking of the music of it, I love the horn that they used, which is the same horn LL Cool J, of course, used before on Going Back to Cali. Yep. So that gave me an automatic reason to like Pocket Full of Stones. But I just like like Amir was saying, I like Pimp C in particular on the song. His phraseology and how he extends certain words and accents certain words, I just think it's pretty awesome. And that was obviously something that later on throughout his career became one of his signature things. So we really see that used to great effect throughout Too Hard to Swallow, but especially on Pocket Full of Stones. And I just think this is another good example of, as we also see throughout their careers, when they do tell stories or where they are getting into stuff more than just bragging and boasting, as we see showing us another dimension of the streets. You know, I just always like that, different perspectives. So, Pocket Full of Stones, definitely, probably my favorite song on Too Hard to Swallow, but definitely in the top 3. So, Amir, what's your second pick?
So, second pick, I'm going to go with a track that doesn't have Pimp C on it, and this would be Crampin' My Style. This is with Bun B. It also features Infinity, the female MC, and to be honest with you, I think this is possibly the only song I've heard Infinity on. I don't really recall anything else. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but just off top. So we get the Between the Sheets sample on that, which is so great. And we've heard it on so many artists, you know. Possibly the most popular would be the Big Papa Notorious B.I.G. one, but even U.G.K. weren't the first to do it. Like, we have MC Shy D, we have a few other people. I mean, there's the list goes on. You can just look up how many times that song has been sampled, and your jaw would drop. It's so many. But this song, I really enjoyed the sample, for one. Two, I like the two perspectives that we have here. We have the female perspective of Infinity, and then we have Bun B's perspective of the male. And she's basically saying, like, you know, she's tired of people using her or using women just for one-night flings. She wants something, you know, more long-term. She wants stability, things like that. And then you just hear a total contrast from Bun, and Bun is basically saying, like, no, you can have the marriage, I just want the honeymoon. I think that line is so funny, man. I mean, the whole song is summed up with that one line from Bun B's perspective, right? And then we have the stuff like, you can pass me my cap because I'm going to be here when you wake up from your nap. I just think, like, it's, like, so cold, it's so ruthless, but this is, like, what Bun B, and I'm assuming also Pimp C, are saying they're those type of dudes in this era in their lives. And they just want the business, and they want to make music, sell stones, you know, whatever they want to do, but they want to do that. And then we get, like I said, Infinity, who's bringing her perspective where, no, she's not going to fall for that. She wants something long-term. She wants trust, etc., blah, blah, blah. So I just find that very interesting. Like I said, like, we've heard it on so many examples. I think, like, a superior example would be, like, It's a Man's World, where you have, like, Yo-Yo, who's just such a great MC, and we get Ice Cube too, and Ice Cube and Bun are so amazing. But you get like that where they're kind of going back and forth and they're dissing each other and stuff. This one, they're not dissing each other, but you still get to hear the two perspectives, and they're split in verses. And then the chorus, I also just like the sample. So Cramp My Style is one of my picks. Definitely enjoy that one.
Cramp My Style is also one of mine because of that very thing. And I always do appreciate when both male and females are really kind of digging in their heels and going to bat for their perspective in a super hard way, which I think is how it is in real life. So when that's able to translate into the music, I just think it's really good. And as Amir said, Bun B's has some very particularly abrasive lines on here, which I think are rather biting, which I think are pretty... It's just, you know, ways to look at relationships and how two people can be in the same relationship and have totally different wants, needs, desires, expectations, and how that manifests itself in different ways. And Bun B, I think in particular, really shows his perspective and leaves his emotions at the door, because that's not what he's there for. So, anyway, that's our second pick. So, Amir, what's your third pick on Too Hard to Swallow?
Third pick, you know what? I was going back between a couple of them. One of them would be Use Me Up. Another one would be Cocaine in the Back of the Ride. But I'm just going to go with 976 Bun B. So this is another one that actually doesn't have Pimp C on it. And it's just like a big, long verse from Bun B. It's a longer verse. It's somewhat similar to like his style of wordplay and theme on Crampin' My Style, where he's basically... just
continuation of sorts.
A continuation where he's basically saying, like, these are the services I'm providing, dial 976 Bun B. And Soren also coincidentally mentioned LL Cool J a few minutes ago, and Bun B, although he's one of the first, he's not the first to use his name with a phone number. I know LL Cool J did his on the Walking with the Panther album. We had also seen other people like Spice One do it, obviously way later, like Jay-Z.
The
Convicts did it. Was it 1-800 Convicts, whatever it was. So or Dial a Crook.
Yep,
Dial a Crook. There we go. That's what it was. So so I know Soren always gets happy when you shout out LL Cool J.
I do.
because he's amazing.
He's the best. That's why.
So, but like we hear Bun B take that on, and then he kind of details his services, what's going to happen when you dial 976 Bun B, and it's also funny because like there was a time where you'd get people shouting out like certain brands or certain things. Like we'd heard like on Low End Theory, Q-Tip is talking about his Sky Pager, and then we'd hear like in the 90s, hear a lot of people shout out St. Ides, and then in this one, Bun B shouting out AT&T. So it's just like, it's funny what people are doing like in certain eras. I just find that to be very interesting as a listener, and to see like AT&T is still, that's my telephone provider. You know what I mean? So I'm hearing like, oh, with the help of AT&T, you can dial 976 Bun B. So I find that to be humorous. This is like a pretty dope track. Like I said, Cocaine in the Back of the Ride, Use Me Up. I like the Use Me Up sample a lot too. It's an interesting take. But that's my third one. Close it out, Soren.
Yeah, I'm not rolling with you on the third pick, but I am rolling with you on Use Me Up. That's my third pick for Too Hard to Swallow, and it is mainly because of the sample and how they use it, because as we all know, as time went on, Pimp C in particular ended up being such a great producer.
Yeah.
And Too Hard to Swallow, I think, hints at his promise, but I think as time goes on, we see him really grow into this phenomenal producer, and this is where I think he starts showing us where he's going to be going and how he's going to be evolving. And I think musically, Use Me Up is one of those examples on Too Hard to Swallow, and I think arguably the best example musically of him doing something unexpected or unconventional, and how they freak stuff from the sample to what they're talking about and all this other stuff. So Use Me Up, I just have always liked and thought was a interesting way to use that sample. So for that, it makes number 3 for my picks. And Too Hard to Swallow really is an early album from Southern rap. It's an early album in general from Texas, because other than Rap a Lot, there wasn't much going on. So it's really cool to hear the Port Arthur, Texas, in contrast to the Houston, Texas. So that's anyway. So those are my 3 picks. You guys got Amir's 3 picks. As always, hit us down there in that comment section. Also, subscribe to Unique Access Entertainment, like our content, and share it. We really appreciate you guys helping us get this big, and we're trying to get bigger, 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 and better. So let us know also what you think and how we can improve and make Unique Access even better for you guys watching and listening experience. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And thank you both, Pimp C, Bun B, U.G.K. Too Hard to Swallow, man.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
What's that 5 on Yo MTV back with NWA?
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.